In the heart of the old town of Greywood, a place shrouded in perpetual mist, stood a quaint little shop that seemed to exist in a time long forgotten. The shop sign, creaking on rusty hinges, read, "The Dollmaker's Emporium." The townsfolk rarely spoke of the shop and its enigmatic owner, Mr. Thorne. Whispers of dark magic and cursed dolls surrounded him, but none dared to investigate further. That is, until young Emily came to town. Emily was a curious soul, an aspiring journalist eager to uncover the hidden stories of Greywood. She had heard the murmurs about the Dollmaker's Emporium and decided to unravel the mystery. On a foggy autumn afternoon, she approached the shop, her footsteps echoing on the cobblestone streets. Pushing open the door, Emily was greeted by the musty scent of old wood and varnish. The shop was filled with an array of dolls, each meticulously crafted and eerily lifelike. They lined the shelves, their glass eyes seemingly following every move. At the far end of the shop, behind a counter cluttered with tools and materials, stood Mr. Thorne. He was a tall, gaunt man with deep-set eyes and a perpetual frown etched onto his face. His hands were calloused and stained from years of delicate work. He looked up as Emily entered, his gaze piercing and cold.
"Can I help you?"
His voice gravelly. Emily forced a smile, trying to suppress the unease creeping up her spine.
I'm Emily Harper. I'm a journalist, and I'm interested in writing a piece about your shop.
Mr. Thorne's eyes narrowed slightly, but he nodded.
"Very well. Come, let me show you my work."
As he led her through the shop, he explained the intricacies of his craft. Each doll was a handmade, a process that took weeks, sometimes months. He spoke of his passion for perfection, his desire to create dolls that were not just toys, but pieces of art. Emily listened intently, taking notes and asking questions, though she couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. They reached a back room dimly lit and filled with unfinished dolls and various tools. In the center of the room was a large workbench, cluttered with scraps of fabric, paint, and other materials. On the wall hung a series of old photographs, each depicting a different child holding one of Mr. Thorne's dolls. The children all wore bright smiles, but there was something unsettling about their eyes, an unnatural shine, as if the dolls were more than mere playthings. Mr. Thorne noticed her staring at the photographs.
"My customers."
His voice softer now.
"Each doll is made for a specific child, a perfect match."
Emily felt a chill,
They're beautiful,
her voice barely above a whisper.
but I've heard rumors. People say your dolls are cursed.
Mr. Thorne's expression darkened.
"Bah, superstitions. People fear what they don't understand."
Just then, the bell above the shop door rang, signaling a new customer. Mr. Thorne excused himself, leaving Emily alone in the back room. She took the opportunity to examine the photographs more closely. As she did, she noticed something strange. In each photo, the child and the doll looked strikingly similar, almost as if they were related. A sudden noise startled her. She turned to see a small door slightly ajar at the back of the room. Curiosity piqued. She approached it and peeked inside. It led to a narrow staircase, descending into darkness. Against her better judgment, Emily took out her phone, turned on the flashlight, and began to descend the staircase that led to a basement. It was cold and damp. At the far end, she saw a large wooden crate. Her heart pounding, she approached it and pried open the lid. Inside were dozens of dolls, each more lifelike she had seen in the shop. Their eyes glistened in the dim light, and their expressions seemed almost human. Emily's blood ran cold as she realized the truth. These weren't just dolls. They were the missing children. Somehow Mr. Thorne had trapped their souls within these lifeless figures. She had to get out to expose the Dollmaker's dark secret, but as she turned to leave, she heard footsteps descending the stairs. Mr. Thorne stood at the bottom, his face twisted in a sinister smile.
"You've seen too much, Miss Harper,"
he said softly.
"I'm afraid I can't let you leave."
Emily backed away, her mind racing for an escape, but there was nowhere to go. Mr. Thorne advanced, raising a small, intricate doll in his hand.
"You wanted a story? Now you will be part of it."
With a swift motion, he pressed the doll against her chest. Emily felt a searing pain, her vision blurring as her limbs grew stiff. The last thing she saw was Mr. Thorne's satisfied smile, and then darkness consumed her. The next day, the townsfolk of Greywood noticed a new doll in the window of the Dollmaker's Emporium. It was a beautiful figure with delicate features and strikingly familiar eyes. And though no one dared to enter the shop, they couldn't shake the feeling that the doll's gaze was following them, pleading silently for release from its eternal prison.